Hey guys, welcome to Velocity Factor. My name is Felipe. Today we put a really cool segment together for you guys on wheels and fitments and offsets and bolt patterns and hub rings, everything you need to know about putting the correct wheels in your car. So follow me and we're going to talk about that in the shop right now. We have this beautiful Evo 10 on the lift and I wanted to talk to you guys about aftermarket wheels, how to fit them properly, and why a hub centering ring is so important when you're racing, when you're going fast. It keeps your wheel secured to the hub of the vehicle. So I'm going to take you inside and show you some aftermarket wheels and how the hub ring fits right in. Alright, so here inside the showroom we have the same wheel, okay? And what we wanted to show is how this hub ring works. Now, the wheels are drilled in the back to a universal size. The reason they do that is because they want you to be able to put this wheel on many different applications, okay? So if I'm going to put this wheel on an STI, I'm going to want to put a hub ring that's 73 to 56. However, if I'm going to put it on my customer's Evo 10, we're going to go 73 to 67. So this changes. This clicks right on the back of the wheel. It's called a hub ring, just like that, okay? And it allows the wheel to hang and center itself on the hub of the car. Now, why is this so important? We don't want the weight of the car to be on the studs because the studs are weak, okay, and they're long. We want the weight of the car to be on this hub, which centers the wheel when you put it on, and what it does is it gets rid of vibration. So a lot of customers come in and say, hey, I got some wheels put on somewhere else and I feel like a shimmy in the wheel, stuff like that. Well, guess what? We pull the wheel off and there was no hub ring. It was just being held in place by the bolts. So once we take the wheels off, we put the hub ring in place and we tighten the lug nuts in a star pattern, and then we torque them. The vibration is gone because now the wheel is centered perfectly on the hub, and that makes a big difference. It's also a safety thing. Race cars, well, we've seen cars lose wheels after they were being tightened because the lateral G's and the forces when you're driving hard can put a lot of stress on these studs and it can snap them off. So hub rings are very important when looking at your custom wheel selections. You can look online very easily what the factory hub size is on your car and take a look at the back of the wheel, and you can put a caliper to measure or look at the box, and you want to make that transition so it's hub centric. Alright, so next up I wanted to show you these wheels we have here on display to help you make the right decision when picking a set of wheels. So now that we talked about the wheels being hub centric, the width is also very important. How wide the wheel is. Do we have enough room inside the strut so it doesn't hit? Is it not going to come outside the fender? Those are two very important key components when choosing wheels. So it's not only the bolt pattern, but the width and the offset. So let's talk about offset now that I have that topic in hand. Offset is how much the wheel is going to be coming in or outside the fender, and that's also very important because we want the wheels to look right. We want them to look flush on the car. We don't want them to stick out. We don't want them to look like OEM or really weak and they're inside the fender, right? So picking the right wheel for your car is super important. Let me give you an example. This wheel right here is 20 inches tall by 12 inches wide, and it will only fit the rear of a GTR. This wheel right here is 19 inches tall and 10 inches wide, and it will really only fit, like, say, an Infiniti or a Nissan or something that's rear wheel drive. These two are 5x114.3, which is the most common bolt pattern for Japanese cars. If we move over to European cars, they're completely different, right? This wheel right here is for a BMW, so it's completely different bolt pattern. It's 5x120, so the spacing in between the bolts is much different than the Japanese wheel, which is 5x114.3. Audi and Volkswagen also have a different bolt pattern, which is usually 5x112. So Europeans, they have their own wheel bolt pattern, so you're never gonna see like a European wheel on a Japanese car or vice versa. So that's usually the first component you want to look at is your bolt pattern. The second one being, how tall you want the wheel to be, like say 18, 19 inch if you're plus sizing. If you're plus sizing, you want to be within 3% of the factory overall height and diameter of the factory wheel and tire. So let me explain. If we're changing out a set of wheels on, say, a BMW M3, and and we want to put these 19-inch wheels right here, we're going to take a look at how tall the overall wheel and tire was on the car from the factory. So let's say it was 27.6 inches. Okay, if we move to the 19-inch diameter, we're going to lose a little bit of tire, okay, but we're still going to be at that 27.6 inches. Why is that important? Because we need the traction control, okay, and all the electronic devices on the car to work, like stability control, like they should, okay. Plus, if you put too big of a tire, it's not going to fill your inner fender well more like people think, okay. It's just going to jack the car up even more. That's why we still would want to lower it if we want to get that look. So we have to keep that same overall height and diameter. That's really important, because if you do go taller, it's simply going to move that gap in between the top of the tire and the fender up when you do that. It doesn't fill it in, it just moves it up. So it's kind of like it plays a trick in your head. So if we upgrade the wheels with the right same overall size and diameter, they're going to look really good. Then maybe we can choose a set of springs, like a set of H&R or I-box springs. We can lower it a little bit. Now we got the look that we were after. All right, so this is the wheel gap that I was talking about right here, and what we're trying to do is get rid of that with a set of lowering springs. If we go with a bigger wheel, this is 19-inch, say we go to a 20, we'll have to reduce the tire height a little bit. If you look behind me here, you can tell that there's a little bit of room if we measure with a straight edge for a little bit more aggressive offset of the wheel. So I like to use some measuring devices from the fender to be able to create a nice flush fitment like you see on this car right here. Then I could use a caliper to see how far in the factory wheel is and how much room I have. So here's two cars that we've outfitted with some nice flush looking wheels for you to be able to see.